And when I hear that the youth are not taking things seriously, they take things very, very seriously. And I think that everybody in the leadership is under 40. Some of them are already elected officials. Some of them are campaign managers. And so it's really going to be interesting for me, because a lot of times when I hear people talking about young activists, they're either, it's people my age, right? And they go, well, they listen to this person, and they listen to this person, and they listen to this person. But these are a lot of the names that I'm hearing that youth listen to, I never hear from the youth. So I don't know if we're just making some wrong assumptions about that. But it's going to be really interesting, because this, to me, is going to be a listening session, and to find out, who are they listening to? Who inspires them? Who repulses them? What are the things that they are fighting for? How do they get it? But they are very involved with the process of how you get something done, both inside and outside of government. And they seem to have a very realistic point of view, and in many cases more realistic than people my age, about what needs to be done. So it's going to be really interesting. And, these are gross generalizations, because every demographic has an extremely wide range of people in them. And we tend to like to categorize groups as a whole. And the more I look into it, the more I find that these categories are really way too general and make a lot of assumptions. So it's going to be a really interesting meeting, and I'm looking forward to it.
And Rick, may I suggest, if I don't know what time you have, or if you want to do it this way, but after we vote, we actually interviewed a number of some of the current youth activists from all different backgrounds, including Circle, which is a civic engagement research group that was involved in the Democracy Coalition with When We All Vote and a bunch of others on getting out, not even focusing on getting out the youth vote, on understanding young people across the country, their civic engagement, what was driving that, what was hindering that, and what are the issues that were resonating with them, as well as the Harvard Youth Poll. So I think it'd be kind of interesting to see. I put the link above, and we've talked about this offline, but it'd be interesting to see how some of the results from these, studies and polls are lining up with, what you're hearing through your interviews with these folks, because a lot of, they highlight what their key issues are. There's even one that talks about the media and where they engage and what sources they trust. So I'm interested to see how some of the studies and how their data sets are kind of aligning with some of the anecdotal, and the experience of these people that you're speaking to. And we even talked with, I think...
Andrea, can I stop you for a second? Because I want you to sort of debrief everybody afterwards. But I want to mention that we have two anonymous people in the room, and this is this Adrian Dittman guy. I think his real name is John Kitover, and he is recording this room as we speak. He's been recording our rooms, and I don't know what he does with them, but he's been recording a lot of rooms like ours and politics. A lot of them, like Patty's room and a lot of our friends. And it's very disturbing, because we can't get rid of the anonymous people when this guy who's a very right-wing maggot person he's been trashing us all over the place. It's very difficult here, and we're trying to find. And I know Joe's in the audience, and that's one of the reasons why I'm mentioning this, because we really would love to be able to have some control over our room, so we don't have people like this recording the room illegally. And he's broadcasting it on YouTube, which is illegal for that as well. And I hope that we don't have to deal with this.
I want to reiterate with Joe.
Amen.
I want to
Can I just say
reiterate
something
with
real
Joe
quick?
on the stage that I do
Hold
not
on,
like
when
this.
my
I just want to reiterate while Joe is on the stage. Joe, I hope you're listening to us. Many of us are old school, early adopter Clubhouse people who know what it was. We've seen it evolve. We've been here. We've been part of the journey. We like to think we helped whatever has gone on here, not hindered it. And we do not like this feature. It is, I don't care if they're paying for it. It doesn't make a lot of sense to us. It's an invasion of our
it changes what we do.
copyright, our intellectual, whatever. We should be able to control our spaces, and we should know who people are in this room. It isn't safe necessarily. We live in a weird political environment right now, and also for women. Thank you. Please get rid of this feature.
Absolutely. If I could just say real quick too, to that point, Andrea, like Joe, and respectfully, it's bizarre that this feature was even created without giving the option of the mods to remove toxic people, like we've just pointed out. It makes no sense. It really is an incubator for toxicity. There's no reason to have these people being anonymous. They can't engage in chat. They can't engage on the stage. They just sit there creepily and record, and it's ridiculous. Thank you.
Yeah.
And if I can also say something about the same issue, I think first of all there is not a really effective way to protect a room or protect our dialogue against kind of sabotage like that. And second of all, I want to tell you, for example, there was an Iranian guy, I don't know if he's still here in the room. He was obviously following me, just as an example how bad the situation is. He was writing in Persian to me, you guy with a lot of fears, and so why don't you condemn the killings of Iranians by the Israeli forces? How dare you are, how screw you are, and like bad things. And then later on he was writing me something else. So I'm just telling you, this is, and he was from Iran, and for us as Iranian citizens, I mean, I'm a German, but I have also Iranian citizenship. These people who are going to make Iranian people trouble and terrorize them simply because they think that we are not condemning this war against Iran enough, or we are trying to build bridges between the people of Jewish faith and Islamic faith. This is what I was talking. Usually you haven't seen ever an Iranian fellow following me in this room and watching, observing what I'm speaking about with my American or my English-speaking friends around the world. This is what I was telling you. And this is the dimension of the new situation. Excuse me, just wanted to.
Well, it sounds like an easy solution is just giving the people who are moderating the ability to not allow anons in the room or remove them. I'll tell you the one that just really got my heart. There's a really vibrant online poetry scene on Clubhouse. It's been my new favorite thing. There's this like whatever feature for a while where they could, do the gifts. And this one person who was anon kept posting in one of the poetry rooms. They made their profile send nudes, and over again it kept showing that as a little image, and none of us could figure out how or why this was going on. So, and afterwards when we tried to remove the anons from like the poetry sphere in the rooms where, it's a little more protected and people are discussing things like sexual assault. So it would be really helpful, like everybody mentioned, just to give the moderators the power to either remove anons or to just set a room as no anon would solve this very quickly, and I imagine wouldn't be hard. So as everybody's echoed, it would just be great if as moderators we could try and guard our spaces in those ways. Just, sometimes it's important. Sometimes we find this app very meaningful and we're trying to use it that way. So I know a lot of people request that. And I doubt anybody would be upset if we gave anons the power to the mods the ability to, even before the room starts, just set it as no anon, or to just give us the ability to remove them.